Grandpa Joe's basement walls were white cinder block, decorated with an elaborate display of pinup girl calendars. He said his collection was to show admiration for the assets that God gave beautiful girls. Nana begged to differ, so she strategically hung religious calendars next to the pinup girls to fend off any potential sin that would come to those who viewed them for too long. Nana and Grandpa Joe's basement was the nucleus of family gatherings. It was host to good times, bad times, and occasional gossip. But the gathering that was most special to me was our annual Thanksgiving feast. Our Thanksgiving meals were served at the same time, same way each year, as are most Thanksgiving meals. Only our meals began with Nana putting an appetizer of Fontina cheese, green and black olives, seasoned tomatoes, and fennel with an olive oil dip on the table. Next came fruit bowls with oranges, apples, and grapes. Fruit was considered good for digestion as well as the soul. Fruit was also served to hold us over so that we wouldn't get hungry while waiting for meatball soup, chicken soup, bread, spaghetti, roasted chicken, and potatoes. This small meal would hold us over while the lasagna, pizza, ravioli, meatballs, and sausage finished cooking. Around 4 p.m., we were done eating our holdover meals. My cousin and I called the break from eating food intermission. During this time, my family would share bittersweet stories of life in Italy. They were mostly tearful recollections of scenic views to snow-capped mountains and abundant acres of fruit and vegetable gardens. World War II left their small town in peril. Nana's villa was seized and occupied for years by young German soldiers. They destroyed the home when it was time to vacate. Yet Nana harbored no ill towards them, saying they were only acting on wartime orders. Nana's values emphasized mercy, respect, and faith. She prayed daily for the safe return home of all young soldiers, including the Germans, saying they were all figli de loro madre, or sons of their mothers, and that somewhere a mother was crying for her son. War-torn Italy made immigration to America a necessity for my family. A life of rural privilege was exchanged for life in Detroit. Even though my family was overjoyed to be in America, they vowed to hold on to Italian tradition. They were determined not to become Americanized. Nana was the matriarch of the family and thought celebrating Thanksgiving would be the right thing to do. But it was her version of Thanksgiving. Our vast array of Italian foods covered all food groups imaginable. None of them had anything to do with Thanksgiving except for the turkey. Years passed, and cousins began bringing their non-Italian spouses to our Thanksgiving dinners. Out of respect for their ethnic or American traditions, my Nana replaced one of our traditional foods with one or more of theirs. Mashed potatoes were served at Thanksgiving instead of roasted potatoes. Nana was happy to get rave reviews on this new potato dish, but a little embarrassed to discover that the cranberries she was asked to serve didn't go as planned. We did see the bowl of floating cranberries next to the bowl of potatoes, but we weren't quite sure if they were a decoration or a food. The next year, Nana discovered that cranberries could be purchased in a can. This took away the stress of figuring out how to prepare them. It would be our first of years to come of eating this sliced can-shaped food. It would also be the first year for baked sweet potatoes, although we complained that the potato wasn't sweet at all. Rather, it was bland and tasteless. Nana put a bowl of hard candy on the table and suggested we chew a candy along with this potato. Maybe it would make it sweet. It wasn't until the American in-laws began giggling that we discovered sweetening happened with the addition of spices and brown sugar. We felt a bit ridiculous, but it was all in good fun. The years passed, and with continued reluctance, Nana gave up more of her traditional meals. Chigoria, which is a dandelion salad, was replaced with iceberg lettuce. Espresso was traded for Maxwell House. Pumpkin pie, as we called it, would take its place next to biscotti and torroni. While keeping our traditional lasagna, we gave up spaghetti, mostaccioli, and ravioli. Corn on the cob would take their place. It seemed there were so many of us around the table, but less dishes to pass. Weeks after my 17th birthday, Grandpa Joe died. It was the day before Thanksgiving. Grandpa was sick for a long time, and we all knew he wasn't going to recover. Still, he made us promise to celebrate his life and to go ahead with Thanksgiving as planned, just in case. We went ahead with our Thanksgiving meal, but it was silent and changed. This would begin a series of finales in the way we celebrated our Thanksgiving meals. Our meals, which once occupied an entire day, were reduced to a few hours. Just as well, since Nana's passion for cooking was never the same after Grandpa died. Besides, many cousins were now married with children, and holidays were celebrated in their own homes. Our family had grown too large for Nana to accommodate. The few of us left around the basement table for meals reminisced about how loud it would get during holidays. We talked about family who were no longer with us and all the changes we had experienced together. We realized that in our youth, we mistook loud voices for noisy chaos, when in fact it was really the sound of a loving family who thoroughly loved being together. While our traditional Italian meals became smaller and smaller, our understanding of life and family became greater and stronger. It was with a heavy heart and great sadness my grandmother gave up preparing foods that tied her to the old country. Yet she did it in the name of progress and love because she wanted her family to embrace American traditions. Our last Thanksgiving with Nana came. There were only a couple of us around her table. For the first time, I saw her as frail and old. Perhaps she had been that way for a long time, and I had been too busy to notice. While we talked and raved about the delicious meal, Nana smiled. But she said something I had never heard her say before. When the family is together, it is always a holiday. The holiday isn't so much about the food as it is about the people who share your meal. And it isn't so much about holding on to the recipes we love as it is about holding on to those we love. If we remember this, then every day is Thanksgiving.